Meet FionaShadeStories. She's played Snap for about 8 weeks, has an account that is around 1500 collection level, and placed second in the Snap-Offs, putting her over such names as Educated Collins, Moyin, Kawa, myself. Her performance proves that you don't have to have an account with all the flashy new cards to be successful here in Snap. Let's break down the decks that she brought and what we can learn from them. The tournament format was bring 2 decks with no overlapping cards, and then is open deck list, so you see what your opponent is bringing and you both simultaneously choose what list you want to play in your matchup. You can change what list you are playing between any round, so it's not just one deck dies and then you're on to the other deck as your only life in the double elimination. You can always pick between both decks into every single matchup. I think the Snap-Offs is on to nearly the perfect tournament format for a Snap. I absolutely love the mind games that go into deck building, choosing what list you want to bring, finding the favorite matchups that you want to play into, and then being able to have the mind game of simultaneously picking up against your opponent. And Fiona certainly used that to her advantage in this tournament, bringing here a Devil Dinosaur Hawk list, and then her alternate look was this Noobula Gotcha list, running the Nebula location lockdown, and here really looking to be able to hunt the Galactus decks that she was predicting were going to be in force in the tournament. Her prediction absolutely paid off. We'll break down the merits of both decks individually, starting here with Fiona's Devils on a Dark Moon deck. It's Devil Dinosaur and Darkhawk combined. Devil Dino has never been bad in Snap. He has been through so many different versions, but he's always been an absolute powerhouse, really bringing his A game here. And then tucked in alongside is the Korg Rockslide Hawk point scoring package. I love the combination of the two of these decks together because you get to synergize a lot around the energy efficiency of the Zabu, and then also be able to have multiple targets, diversified targets for the Mystique, able to either clip her onto the Hawk or clip her onto the Devil Dinosaur, and you can get such dramatic force multiplication of the synergies here through the Moon Girl. And you also get to include the powerhouse of Coulson, an absolute X factor when you're in the friendly battle scenario. Agent Coulson able to create these random cards, White Queen pulling the strength from the opponent, so you get scouting information of what the opponent has. They're not going to always be able to plan around what you have if Coulson is creating some new form of control card that you haven't shown before. We are fitting in the Shang-Chi to be able to knock over the opposing large targets. She tucked Enchantress into the Noobula Gotcha list, so she was running both looks, both control pieces, just in different decks to be able to open up her selection between the two of them. I think you can always trade that around based on the meta that you are finding on your ranked climb at the moment. They are fairly interchangeable, though here, of course, the Shang-Chi is doing better than the Enchantress because we have a little bit of counter synergy using so many ongoing engines ourselves that Shang-Chi is the preferred control card to bring on this list. Game plan for this deck has always been very straightforward. Set up your energy cheats early. In the mid game, try and bloat your hand, and then in the end game, slam down the dinos to be able to profit. You do have the flexibility of playing into the Hawk if that's the combo that you've developed, and if you have the Shang-Chi, you're going to be looking for value there. Ooh, is Zabu better as an energy cheat or as a Hulk? I will get 1 round of his energy cheat value to be able to play White Queen or the Hawk. I think I might just play Queen and then also play her to the Gamma Lab to be able to get 2 Hulks. Never mind. If she plays immediately, I grab Iron Man. They have Carnage. Agent 13, Carnage Collector. Fascinating combo. And then New York. Interesting. I will play... I feel like this is a Agent Coulson time. Sure. I could have Iron Man make sure that I win that lane. If I get... We should do Magic Coulsons. If I find the Shang-Chi, I would rather just knock their Hulks down as soon as possible. Not always able to do that, however. Coulson generated a high evolutionary. He's terrible to have in hand. We'll play Hawk here. Then it can be Mystique, Korg together on turn 5, I guess. Crystal draws me the Shang-Chi. You might find yourself regretting that choice, my friend. If they were going to play Ronan the Accuser, wow, we are screwed over. Hawk not that large, so probably not worth to pin the Mystique to him. Let's just play the Shang-Chi now while we have the initiative lead. and then go ahead and play the Korg. Do they also have the Shang-Chi? I wouldn't be too surprised. At least we didn't invest the Iron Man. Yep. All right. Oh, Carnage, do you run Null? Are you some kind of psycho who's gonna play Null against me? I can play... interesting. The moving in New York, the mind games galore. I always hate this part. I'm gonna move Shang-Chi to be able to get the go-ahead and play the Devil Dinosaur naturally ahead in the middle. And call it a day. Ah! Victory! Fantastic. Love this opening hand for us. Zabu into Coulson, where that 4-cost card will be discounted, or the White Queen, depending on which one tickles our fancy. Orcus Forge. If I get the Quinjet, actually having a couple cheap Sentinels to be able to play could be very high tempo for us. And then Asteroid M. The bane of many a Snap player's existence, as their cards don't stick where you want them to be. They get yoinked across. Now this is base cost. 3 or 4 cost with the hyphen there means base cost. Not that it'll matter too much for us here. Let's go ahead and get a read on our opponent with the White Queen. If we get Hawk, we need to pivot very quickly to playing down all the rocks. Dr. Doom, fantastic, all purpose. 4-jaw deck. The Asteroid M can mess with them a little bit, and there's the coveted Hawk. Here we go. Rock Slide, and then Korg. How do you play it out so that I don't just consolidate all my power onto Asteroid M? Do I use the Korg as a little blocker to be able to fill a space, or do I play him, you know, a spot where he's going to be able to stick? I guess I'll play him over here. Are they going to play Lockjaw here, or are they going to play Jubilee? They do play Lockjaw. Sorry. You're going to lose a couple spaces on your Lockjaw here with both Thor and Lockjaw going simultaneously. Is it dangerous for me to try and compete against them? It is dangerous, but nevertheless, we shall try. Play Hawk over here. Sentinel will copy, and the copy will be 1, and then the one that's added because of the Forge will also be 1. So we'll have 2 1/3s in hand. If I can top deck the Mystique, that honestly turns into a fantastic turn for us. Never mind. Zabu is not the Quinjet. The Sentinels are normal cost. If I draw the Mystique, it is still a great play for us. There she is. Ooh. Jane Foster, the mighty Thor. You have pulled Wasp and Mjolnir back into your hand. Your deck is still full, and it is full of junk. Great counter to the Lockjaw lists. If you were to have one deck type that this list specifically counters, it's something running Lockjaw. The rocks in the deck, they just hate it. It's also a soft counter to the Thanos because you're getting all of the extra value out of the Hawk. How can we absolutely ruin their day? Is it just Sentinel Mystique here? Nope, other order, right? Mystique first, and then the Sentinel. Fill in the spot, be able to copy the power of the Hawk. Carry me away. Opponent really wondering how they could possibly surmount the 23 power. Played down on mid. Copy up. Pass him on mid. Doesn't get pulled. Build up the location. We're sitting at a pretty 26 there. Here goes the slot machine. Up to 12. Cycle the Mjolnir. Reveal the rock. Got him. No, not enough. Not enough. Korg coming through. Victory. Tournament deck number 2, and we are looking at Fiona's Noobula. Gotcha. So here she is running the Nebula, the Battle Pass card. In the previous deck, there was the Zabu, and then there was the Hawk, 2 Series 4 cards. Otherwise, every single card across both lists is only Series 3. Very accessible decks if you want to be able to hunt out and acquire these cards and assemble them together. This list... You throw everything and the kitchen sink at Galactus. You actually have every single tool to be able to smash them. You have the Storm, the Spider-Man, the Professor X, the Magneto can move the energy cheat card to block. You don't have the Debris. I suppose that's the one tool you left at home. the Green Goblin Daredevil to be able to see where it is landing. Oh, man. Now, Fiona played Freddy Babes in the finals. She was running this list. Freddy brought his Galactus. Freddy won. But I promise you guys, well, one, you should check out the snap-offs. It was stacked competitions all the way through. The official channel and cast was at Hannah's Cat Cafe. You can also watch Fiona's specific perspective on her Twitch VODs. This deck does, I promise you, beat Galactus. Just make sure that you don't run up against Freddy Babes on ladder and you will be fine. You have all the tools possible to be able to smack them. You're running the Enchantress to be able to knock over ongoing engine pieces. Though this is, of course, a flex slot. You could bring the Shang-Chi if you want that adaptation based on the current meta. Right now, looking at a lot of Abominations and Hulks hitting the board, Shang-Chi could actually be a little bit more valuable. But otherwise, we're looking to be able to close down lanes early to our advantage, taking advantage of the Storm to be able to lock something down, Spider-Man to follow up. Spider-Man just such a good card. Honestly, he had a surge with the old Zabu, and then I think he's gone back to being one of the more underrated cards. He is good in just any situation as a plug-and-play control piece. I love having my little Spider-Man here. Green Goblin can clog up their board space, prevent them from being able to make easy plays, and then the predictive power of Daredevil plus Professor X and the Gamora. Once we're down to a claustrophobic, tightened up board, we have the stat sticks to be able to make the win happen with the Gamora. Magneto also can be the dirty trick to be able to pull whatever they use to answer the Storm away and then result in a winning board state for us. Game plan for this list is, in the early game, certainly establish the Nebula. She is a powerhouse. Mid-game, start making the board a little bit claustrophobic. The Spider-Man, the Storm, Professor X to lock things down. And then we finish out with the big boys in Gamora and Magneto. Project Pegasus. My gosh. I think I'll take the Prof X now. Throwing him out blind, but trusting that the scaling factor of the Nebula is going to be enough to be able to swing the lane into a win later on. Passing on 2 energy. Not the most efficient energy expenditure, but I'll take it. What do they have? We'll be able to find out a lot right here. Bishop and Scarlet Witch. Interesting, interesting. So it's some kind of Sera deck, but they didn't have the Sera to set up immediately, I suppose. Otherwise, I'm sure they would have tried to. What does Hub give us? Valkyrie. Another very powerful control element, especially when you're looking at lanes that are getting locked down here. I want to be able to throw the Goblin over. Attack the Hub. I just have to be able to win that one additional lane now. And between Spider-Man and Gamora, we're snapping on this one. I think the Professor X land and the hand that we are looking at right now is unbeatable. And by unbeatable, I mean 90% confidence on my side. Especially if they don't have anything to do here. It's looking better and better. We'll go... yeah. They weren't having any of that. So again, this deck thrives on the Galactus matchup, but it also does well against anything that is trying to use the destruction synergies, even against some Zoo decks that are trying to be able to spread their pressure all across the board. When we're able to lock pieces down, it takes away a lot of their game plan. Lamentus 1. These matchups always get very finicky here. We'll put in the Nebula. Scaling, scaling. Need to be delicate with what we play. Stark Tower? Okay. I'll throw the Goblin across. Make it harder for you to stop the Nebula scaling as we go. Debris. Debris Blue Marvel, are you Patriot? Could be Patriot. How do we want to capitalize here? The Spider-Man to the Stark Tower, followed up by the Professor X, followed up by Gamora. Pretty much to the Nebula lane. I think that is our matchup. If it's full, then I play the Magneto instead of the Gamora. Very nice trade up of you develop the same amount of power. You just get a little bit more energy efficiency from the Gamora. Could combo her alongside Iceman for even more of a bump up. I wonder if this deck could run Titania and thrive. You could cut armor. You could cut armor and run the Titania if you want a little bit of a spicy mix-up, especially in conjunction with the Goblin. That lane attack, just devastating. But I digress.
Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man here.
Wave play. Wave play. I feel like I'm still just playing Professor X here. Be able to get the win on this lane. I flip first? Yeah, I'll get the win here. If you play... Okay, you just wave into your blue marble.
All systems go.
I think they could have been concerned that I was trying to play a couple combo pieces together. Not sure exactly what they would have been expecting. Gamora. You're just the guaranteed win, right? If they don't play... Hold on. If they play Ultron mid and they add 3, they go up to 9. My Gamora still wins. If they play into the Daily Bugle, even with Ultron... if they play Onslaught on mid, they'll add 3 on left. If they play Ultron on left, they add 8. My Gamora will be able to catch them. They'll be at 14. I'll be at 15. I would catch them. Anyway, we turn it, we take it. I think if I snap, I scare them away. Especially after locking up Stark Tower. Here we go. It is the Ultron. Oh, but they get the +1 from the blue marble. But it goes into margin of victory. Hold on. 8. I'm up. Yes. We take these. Victory. If you guys are looking for any new decks that are budget friendly, easy to be able to assemble, then these two are tournament tested. They receive a glowing endorsement from me. They're very flexible to give you great matchups to against a number of the decks that you're going to see on ladder right now. If you pick either of them up, I hope they earn you many cubes on your climb up to infinite. Check the description down below if you want direct links to either any of the Twitch channels that I referenced in the video. Until next time, thank you guys for watching. Keep on snapping.